Welcome to the home studio video. Over the last 3 months, I've been living in Portugal and been staying with my girlfriend in a tiny Airbnb. Literally tiny, it's done the trick, it's been a place to stay and I can't complain. But I thought that it would be an awesome challenge to see if I could turn that tiny room that we were staying in, a little studio apartment, into a film studio. How good could I make the quality of the image? How good could I make a video inside a really small room? Because I realized that most of my clients and most of you out there don't have the greatest spaces in the world to film. And that is a big limiting belief for a lot of people. And also it means that, people sometimes think that you need to have these fancy spaces, you have to have great studio setups and you have to hire an awesome studio. Yes, those things are cool for once-off shoots, but being able to shoot a great looking video in any room that you are in and any place in the world is essential if you want to be a personal trainer who is geographically free or a personal trainer who wants to create content regularly. So what I wanted to do is show you exactly how I created this setup here that you can see using nothing but 2 lights, and I'll show you exactly what they were. I had one main source of lighting and I had one backlight which created that nice LED look. And yeah, I essentially took what you see on the left here, which is what the majority of people's videos look like, and then taking it and making something that looks awesome like the image on the right. And it took me 15 minutes to set this up. So I want you to feel confident, I want you to dive into this and just make notes, and then I want you to implement it yourself. People are going to notice the difference and your videos are going to look awesome. So let's dive right into it. So if you look here, that is the room that I was staying in with my missus for 3 months. Now, it had everything I needed, guys. I like to live simply. I like to live life without too much hassle. So having a little kitchen, a fridge, and a bed to sleep in was all I needed. Now, imagine how much more value I got out of this place because I was able to film in it and I was able to shoot videos for my course. I was able to shoot content on one of my batch creation shoots. So everything that you see on my social media that is in this background was shot in this tiny little room. Now, granted, we had a really noisy dog. Our neighbor's dog called Ziggy wouldn't shut up. So that was kind of a bit of an obstacle, but still, it's all good. Managed to get content out of it. So here is how we did that. So I shot with my Sony A7S. And if you're shooting on a phone, you can do exactly the same thing. And I set up my tripod. And what I did was I had to find where in the room the best spot for my camera was. Now, the best spot for the camera was in the corner because that gave me the most amount of space between the camera, where I was going to position myself, and the background. Now remember, the background's a really important part of the video setup because you want to create depth, because depth makes the video look more engaging and more immersive for your viewers. So remember that. So what I did was I positioned it in the corner and then I positioned my place. So I wanted to do one sitting down. So I got the table, positioned it on my little stool. And then I was pretty much right in the middle of the room. And then I started to frame myself up. So what did the background look like? Now, once you have your frame, that is when you start playing around with the background, moving things and really reducing stuff. You want to have a simplistic background if you can make it so. Now, this is the most important step to create that image that I showed you at the first part. So the reason it looked so cool was because I took out all of the natural light in the room. So right now I'm shooting with natural light. I'm not worrying too much about it. I needed to get this video shot quickly. But if I had more time, I would black out this whole room. And I don't actually have a light right now. So if you have a light, then you want to black out the whole room. And blacking out the room means reducing all of the natural light. If you do not have a light, then use the natural light, like I'm doing right now. I'm using natural light because I don't have a light right here at this apartment I'm staying at. So what I wanted to do then was shut all of the windows so it was dark. And then I wanted to take this door, which you could see here was letting out a bunch of light, and I took some towels and I took some blankets and I just shut out all natural light possible. It wasn't a very pretty job. I actually just stuffed some towels in there and slammed the door shut. So if you have pegs or anything, just get creative and try and block out as much daylight as you can. So look, getting pretty dark now, and then I closed the door and yeah, it was looking really, really dark. So I turned the house lights on. So house lights are just the normal lights that are installed into a house, as the name would suggest. And then I set up my key light, which is going to be the main source of lighting. Now, granted, this is a Aputure 300D, which is completely overkill for what I was trying to do, but it's the only light I have, and only light I had, so I mean, it's a great light, so I can't really complain, but I just want you to know that if you have an LED light, you're all good. Once that light was set up, I then took a little practical light, which is essentially a lamp or a light feature or anything like that, and I stuck in a little LED bulb, which I bought for €6.50 at the local Chinese shop. And I was able to change the color of my background and create something on brand. So that's how I made that blue look. So I made sure that was behind me, and I turned the main key light on. I like to put my fist in position of where I'm standing. What that does is it allows me to look at the way the light is falling on my fist. Putting the fist out into the light allows me to see the way the light is going to fall on my face. So generally with a key light, I always like to have it at a 45-degree angle to the side of me. And because what that does is it creates this contrasting look across my face, and it's not too bright or harsh when it's front on. But if you have a really sort of low budget light, sometimes you're just going to have to pump as much light onto you as possible, and 45 degrees might not work. But as a rule of thumb, I always have it at a diagonal towards me. And then I have my backlight, which is my colored light, you can see there, just kind of creating that nice sort of ambience. Now, what I did was I placed my camera there and I did a few tests, and yeah, I was happy. So I'm really happy with the way this is looking. So to summarize, what we do is we decide where we're going to be positioned in the room, making sure we have depth behind us and we have enough space for the camera to frame us up nicely. Then we simplify the background as much as possible, remembering that it's all about us. We are the focus. You are the focus of the film. You don't want your background to be the focus of the film. You want to be the focus. Then you black out the whole room. You set up your key light, and then you set up your backlight to create separation between you and your background. And then you test and you tweak until you're happy with the final picture, and then you should have something that looks kind of like this. And I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I used this setup for a bunch of my new course videos, and yeah, it was a great cost-effective, time-effective way to make the most of a tiny room that we were staying in Portugal. So if you have any questions about this setup, drop the comments in below and I will answer you. Get back to me, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them, because remember, there's opportunity to film and create and make magic in any single space you are in, even if you think it is impossible. Thanks for watching, all the best and much love.